Welcome to the Blairstown Township Committee meeting for May 21st, 2024. Can we have an opening roll call, please, Kristen?
Mrs. Lance?
Here.
Mr. Loman?
Here.
Mr. McAtora?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Orcott?
Here.
Mayor Moorhead?
Here. Could you all please rise for the salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this public meeting through a legal notice published in the New Jersey Herald and/or the express times following the Township's annual reorganization meeting at which the 2024 meeting schedule was adopted. So we're going to start the meeting off tonight with a presentation. Our good friend Tara is here. Tara, we may as well just get your room here because you're becoming a staple in our meetings. But tonight we're talking about the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic River Management, and we've been kind of.
Yes. So we're actually, I'm Warren County's representative on the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic River Management Council. But tonight, I had been here, took this back in August, September, because we wanted to study adding the pollen skill to the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic. And we're going to start in the middle of our presentation and tell you that went so well that you and Knowlton and Hardwick went on record saying, yes, this is a great thing. And the local organization said this is a great thing, and that's the Nature Conservancy, the Fallsville Valley Trail Committee, Ridge Valley Conservancy, the Highlands Coalition, Appalachian Mountains Club, AMC, the Land Conservancy, and the New Jersey Sierra Club said this is a wonderful thing. Our study, which included your Yards Creek, your Jacksonburg Creek, not yours. You actually have a Stony Brook, right? You have a brook along a Stony Brook Road, that is yours, okay. Blair Creek, Susquehanna Lake, and the creek there, what's not yours is Wood Lake. That went so well, and we found so many outstandingly remarkable values, which are required for wild and scenic designation, which include the fact that the good water quality of the Collinskill, it's a C1 trout producing stream. The aquifer is of a quality and temperature that supports trout habitat. The Kittatinny State Trail, that is historic, and the only reason it's there is because the railroad was there. And the only reason the railroad was there was because the Collinskill part of it. So these outstandingly remarkable values that are required for wild and scenic designation have to be river dependent, they have to be rare, and they have to be exemplary. So that trail is, would probably vet out by the National Park Service. They have to get fully vetted out. You have significant historic resources in Blairstown. We all agree. And other wonderful state recognized things. So that part of it went so well that we are here, like I had mentioned last week, but this is the formal presentation for the announcement, so we can say that we gave our presentation to Blairstown. The Food Shed Alliance, which was a partner in this process, has decided to do full wild and scenic study for the Collinskill. Very different. That means that it's a process. So I'm going to back up to this one. Excuse me. What happens if you start in the middle? So we're going to get to this one. So it's a process that means that in the end of this possible 7-year process, our Collinsville would be designated just like the Musconetcong, just like the Lower Delaware, just like the Middle Delaware, and its own unique designation. So it would be different than the Middle Delaware, which is on federal land, and this is partially for the benefit of the public that I'm mentioning this. What's different, and I'm reminding you of what I shared with you back in August, September. What's different about the Middle Delaware, which is a traditional wild and scenic river on federal, largely on federal land, administered and managed by the National Park Service. What's different about what the Collinsville would hopefully become, what is the Lower Delaware, what is the Musconetcong, is we would fall under what's called the partnership model. And that partnership model means the National Park Service still administers the program, make sure we're following the rules of the National Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. But the local communities are responsible for the management plan, the creation of the management plan, and all decisions on what to do with the funding that trickles down to us through the National Park Service. So we're here to formally announce that. I'm not going to go into all the slides. I'm going to just keep it nice and simple and talk about quickly the benefits of being wild and scenic. Again, I'm going to feature them. Local Management Council is responsible for everything. So the National Park Service doesn't even have a seat on the council. They don't even have a vote on how we do what we do. Their job is to really just make sure we're following the rules that are set forth in the cooperative agreement to do this thing. We make all those decisions. Guidance is provided by the National Park Service. Funding comes down from the National Park Service. You get access by hopefully becoming wild and scenic. You get access to what I was saying earlier is I was featuring how your grants can be more competitive. I didn't get into the next layer of the reality, and that is you will be eligible for funding that other people otherwise wouldn't. Like there's only funding just for wild and scenic rivers. Now that's the same as if you did join the Lower Delaware. What we're talking about is being your own wild and scenic, so I'm just giving you the next level of what could happen. Let me talk for a moment about the difference between why would you do your own wild and scenic, which is actually what Nicholas and Lance had asked when we first met, is if you had decided to join, approve your segment, should this go well, be a part of the Lower Delaware Wild and Scenic at the end of that project that started this whole thing, would that disqualify you from, at a later date, deciding to be full wild and scenic for the Collinsville? And I came back and I said, yes. Once you're a pickle, you're a pickle. Once you're a protected pickle, you're a protected pickle. So in this case, if you had joined Lower Delaware, you would have the same protections as what you're hopefully going to have in hopefully 7 years. But in this case, you're the big fish in the small pond. You know, you would be a part of your Collinsville as opposed to Blairstown's portion of the Collinsville being a part of the Lower Delaware, which goes all the way down to New Hope and has all those other municipalities in between. So that's the difference. So you don't need to make a real decision on which way do you want to go. There'll be a point when the Lower Delaware group, when we come back and say we've completed our study and you need to decide if you want to go forward with us or not. That decision certainly would come up anytime before this study goes forward. So the process we're in right now is all these words you can ignore. Just go to the top where we have the boxes and the dates. So right now, 2024, we're at the very beginning of this thing. If we go forward with this study, it would be asking our congressman. It would be, in this case, we would be asking, if it's the representatives that are here now, which would be Congressman Kane and Congressman Gottheimer, whoever the congressional representatives for the waters would go to Congress and they would be asking for a full wild and scenic study bill. It's its own bill. And that creates funding from the federal government for a 3-year study. It has to be done within 3 years And we would be looking at the next phase of this thing. What we're doing right now is hitting every municipality. That's why it was important for me to do this once again. It feels like, but it's different. We're hitting every municipality about this unique project, which is the Collinsville Wild and Scenic River Project. And we're going to be asking, I'll be drafting a sample resolution supporting this study. Again, this is no commitment. This is just are you in alignment with our plan, which is to study, to look at the possibility of asking for that study. So it's like a little like desktop reconnaissance to ask for a study. So I'd be back with not up here, it would just be a piece of paper you guys would have to consider and do what you do with. I'll just be sitting there because there might be questions. Questions. And maybe Commissioner Lance would like to share a little bit of this experience.
I mean,
Or do it.
the only thing that I would add to it is, our attorney's not here tonight, but when he found out that we were looking at it, he just about drooled and said what a wonderful experience it was at his own community. Was, I'm trying to think, the Muskinecon was termed as wild and scenic. I think anything we can do to protect our waters and our fishing water has got to be a plus. Anything that we can do to be able to highlight, something within Blairstown. We're very fond of opening day trout season. We're very proud of the University waters. Anything that we can do to protect that is going to be positive. Access to money, extra points on grants, always love that. It's like, what's not to like, So very, very happy that you've come to discuss it.
And thank you for meeting with us. We've met half a dozen times over the past few months to get to this point, to make sure this is the direction that Joe and is really championing.
Yeah, you have quite a commitment. That's a long timeline. But it's
Job security.
Start somewhere.
that's
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much.
Ask the question, Mr. Mayor? May she ask the question?
sure.
Terry, are you working with Beth Saddleberry from Fish and Wildlife? Because a couple of years ago, Beth had come to a meeting in this room, actually, and regarding what Sussex County does with the Collinsville and all the recreation and fish life and all these different things, and she wanted to do it in Warren County, but we couldn't get enough people to volunteer to do it in Warren County. So do you work with her or anything like that?
So the Nature Conservancy is Beth, is with the Nature Conservancy, and that I believe possibly the initiative you're talking about really was the creation of Watershed Alliance's Collinsville Watershed Community. So that's Chris Dunbar here with us, is picking all of that up for the whole Collinsville watershed. And so the Nature Conservancy is with us, with us in support. We're not at a point of working with anybody right now. We're really at a point of just making sure the support is there. The Act requires local support. The Act requires municipal resolution showing that local support in order for the segment within the municipality to ultimately be eligible and suitable to be designated. So it was important to us to start with the well-established organizations that are already advocating for the Collinsville and make sure that they had their support first. And it was there.
That list of supporters is pretty impressive. It's not just our local governments. It's you have pretty much everything
In a
there.
minute. That happened, and that was, Christine Dunbar had sent the email out to them, sending the information to them, and they were just let us know what you need from us.
Yeah.
Was the response.
Eric?
Go to
Oh.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. We'll move on with our public comment section of the agenda. Any public comments tonight? We have 5 minutes. Come on up. Well, since she already beat you up there, did you see her get up there before you? She's very fast.
Hold that right toward you.
Yeah, you can bring that whole face over.
Yeah, just have it. There you go. There you go. Perfect, that's good.
Is that on?
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't think it's on.
You're me. And Mike, we have a microphone, don't worry. There you go, that works.
Okay, hi, so it's great that Tara has really gotten us off to a great start with the Lower Pondville towns. We do have about 12 towns to visit, and we're starting with ECs, if there are ECs in the town, and we're presenting this information to them, and getting feedback from them, and hopefully we'll get resolutions of support from the towns. Yeah, it's a long project, and we hope to have 12 resolutions of support that we can bring to our 2 representatives, one from Sussex, one from Warren, and that they will write a letter of support for us to go forward to have a study done, a fully funded study. And we will be, actually, the Beachhead Alliance is the nonprofit that will be driving the study with input from all the municipalities or organizations in the watershed that want to join with us, in particular to form eventually inclusive watershed management plan. So this is this is why it will take so long, all of those different factors, and then going to Congress a couple of times. But that's not why I'm here for public comment. I have other good news. We have a farm, a big farm in Blairstown that is going to be, and is being, certified as a river-friendly farm. And we like to celebrate that by doing a public presentation, maybe, press release and photos. And I was wondering if we could do that for this Blairstown farm sometime in the near future. We would come in and the farmer might have some words to say. Richard and the RC MD that we work with might be there. Photo op and presentation of a big, beautiful blue sign, little friendly farm sign, and a certificate being given to the farmer. This is it's a great motivation, I think, for other farmers to seek river-friendly status. It's a great program that rewards them for doing the right thing and keeping their communities healthy. So it's a good publicity for everyone, and it gets the word out to become river-friendly. So I guess what I'm asking is that could we have that presentation, and should it be maybe, if not, hopefully with the town council, if not with the town council, perhaps with your understanding the land use board, that would also be appropriate.
What about this format next month? I mean, 1 month from now. We have it'll be the 4th Wednesday. Whatever that is.
You want to set the farm, though, right?
Or you want to hear?
Or here?
Well, if the farm would be great, but I mean, we could just come here with the farmer and we.
Sure, right. Yeah.
Okay, so
What farm is it?
it's race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Can't do both, go out to the farm first, do the presentation, and then bring it up to the committee meeting. Deputy Mayor Wilcox loves usually like that, but that does get a lot of photos.
Any
anything you suggest, we're very eager to
Yeah, if you want us to come out and take some pictures and,
cut a ribbon or something. The mayor's loving it.
I love cutting ribbons.
So I'm hearing that
I'll do anything
you'd
for
like
you.
to.
But we're telling you, we'll do anything you want to make it a success.
Okay, great. So I'm hearing that you might actually like to go out to the farm and have this presentation.
You kind of need, yeah.
But that would be something we have to schedule a time and everything. And you already have your meetings scheduled and it's like convenient.
Schedule
I
the
think they
rest.
can do both. They can have a presentation at the farm, and then we can also do something here. I'm sure they would be more than willing to do that. So
Yeah.
very well.
Okay.
Well, we could
Let us
definitely
know.
very relatively quickly and take some, pictures and we can bring it to the committee. But work with Kristen for our schedule, because she can schedule us all accordingly.
If we all can't make it, I mean, most of us do are pretty flexible about getting to things during the day.
Okay, all right, that's great.
Now, while you're here,
Yes,
you should also give a plug for what is opening on June 1st, since it's administered through the Food Shed Alliance, right? The farmer's market.
oh, I should, yes.
Ta-da!
Okay, let's see, what will I be doing at that time? I think I'll be in Freeling Heights and like a Founder's Day. But anyway, no, it's great. And so many good things are happening. And thank you for your support in so many of the projects for the food shed.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. What are the parameters for Riverfront Farm? Like, what does that
Okay,
entail?
so we look at 5 different things. We look at the usage of pesticides and herbicides. We look at soil health. We look at livestock management. We look at water protection and watershed management and fertilizer. So that's the 5 components.
Okay.
And it's a form that is very easy to fill out. It's basically check the boxes, NA or, how much fertilizer and when you apply it. And then after that application is filled out, and we have a farmer fill out, it's actually Tim Dunn, that's contracted by the RC&D, and he and somebody from RC&D or myself will go out and we'll walk through the farm and just take a look and talk about, what's there, and we can make suggestions. If someone needs ideas for improvement or how to do something or even grant funding, he has that on hand.
And assuming there's some sort of benefit for the farmer?
Well, you do get this big, beautiful blue sign that says river friendly, and you can take it with you to the farmer's market or put it outside of your farm. But you also get a logo that you can put on all of your products. So it's a little way to toot your horn.
Right,
And
okay.
set an example for other farmers.
That's very good. The man behind the fiber, Robert Boyle, is with us tonight. You were our second presentation. We went into public comment, but we can go to you now if you like. I don't want to hold you up too long. You have maps.
I always like to say, as soon as something questions. I'll just read it out, follow it out. So we have this little map. You want to know like the name?
Sure, yeah. Be nice.
Robert Boyle from CEO of Brandon Networks, and I don't live in Blairstown, love Blairstown, but I live in Denver, in the office. So here's a map that, good way to.
I think we might have that. Do we have that?
You want to put it up on the screen?
I think we're going to put it up.
Okay, perfect. I'll just leave it over here, so if anyone wants to look at a more detailed version than you can see on the screen, you can see.
Our IT department.
Yeah, we have to choose the source. Okay.
I'm pretty sure we should
Okay,
It's
excellent.
impressive.
Nice.
So we met the other day, Charlie and myself and you, and we were talking about coverage and building out Blairstown. So we ask that you come in and kind of give people an update, because it's been a few years now since we started this whole thing. We have the service here. A lot of people have been wired up, and it's, you know, I don't think, I haven't heard a complaint yet, so we know the service is exemplary. Certainly 1,000 times better than anything that we've seen as far as you know, our DSLs, old DSLs go. So I know I struggled with mine for years. So. But we want to know a little more about the rollout plan for Blairstown and whatever you have for us.
So, I know I created a little bit of controversy that was unintentional, just saying, so the, one thing I want to clarify is the, should I address you guys?
They can hear you. Can you hear him? Can you hear him? Okay.
Okay, good. So we had a bit of a surprise, only because of my lack of researching it beforehand. There's an ordinance in Blairstown that requires us to have police traffic control, so that changed our cost structure a little bit, so we had to make some adjustments to make that work, which we're going to do. We also got some clarification on meeting that it's for dead-end roads, and also for it's less than an hour, and you know, I guess.
And the private roads as well.
Yeah, and private roads.
Plenty of private roads.
Yeah. So we're kind of looking at a way that we can get as much done as possible with the current budget structure, and we'll allocate funding for it to finish up the rest of the time. So right now, Blairstown is about 20% complete. We have the downtown area is done, and we've gotten some of the areas off of, you can kind of zoom around and kind of see all the blue areas have service available today. So,
Blair Academy has it?
Blair Academy has it, and downtown area has it here. The 94 corridor has it, but I think that we're still waiting for some taps to, so without getting too into the weeds, we need to get permission from utility pole owners to build. So that's a big part of the delay, is getting permission from Brightspeed and also from JCP&L, depending on who owns the pole. Most of the poles have communications on them, so most of them are connected through Brightspeed. But so we can only build what they have given us permission to, and if we get permission to, I mean, you want to stand up?
Sure.
Okay. So, if they grant us permission to build this whole area up here, but we have no way to connect it, we don't build it because there's no point in building it yet. So we have to wait for, we might be waiting for a permit over here or something to connect it. And so once we get those other parts to connect it, then we can build it. So a lot of the delays waiting for permitting to have them allow us to build things. And then also, it has to be something that's contiguous so we can build it. Some of the stuff that we've been building around, some of this stuff is fed from other areas, like some of this stuff is fed from Freeman Eisen, some of this stuff is fed from Hardwick. So this stuff is all fed from Newton. All of the stuff here is fed from Blairstown, and this stuff is all fed from Blairstown. But a lot of this stuff is fed from Newton. So that's the holdup with some of the stuff, and our goal is to get everything done as quickly as possible, but like I said, the holdup right now is it's a permitting issue, and it's also, it takes a lot of time to do this, and part of, we also have a little bit of a little hiccup right now with how we're able to, some of the work that we were able to do before, Brightspeed doesn't have said we can't do it, we have to have someone else do it. So that's causing a little bit of delay too. So, but we are working on it, and we're trying to get more in the town served, and some of these areas we do have permits for, we're going to try to figure out the stuff that we do have permits for, if there's another way to feed it, and there's a way to turn it out faster. We actually had another map that my team did But it was kind of deceptive because it shows all of the stuff that we want to build and that we have permits submitted for, or that we have, partially completed. And so it was more like 40% of the town, but, the township, that it wasn't an accurate reflection of what actually has service today. So I said, I don't want to show that because I don't want to confuse people and have people think there's more available than there is. But, so that's where we are with things, and we are going to continue to work diligently to get more stuff built as soon as we can. And with our meeting the other day, the clarification, that helps, and so we can work on some of those areas. We're going to see if there's stuff that we can get built that we can connect another way to get more things done faster. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, because I know the meeting that we had last week was not only lengthy, but I think the mayor and I came over with a whole different appreciation of how the business is operating.
This whole permitting thing, probably. He was wondering why he has service on his road when he really shouldn't, right?
I don't really want to get into the whole permitting, because I continually look at I don't know if you have the map there. Please. And again, this isn't, who is the primary ownership of the poles in Milton Township?
So,
would that also be JCP&L? Anybody else?
Right to JCP. We actually installed a bunch of poles in Milton because. Yeah. Yeah, and that certainly helps make things a lot faster when we do that, but on some roads there weren't poles, or the pole line ended, so it was fed from this end and nothing on this end, so we could feed it from somewhere else. And as long as we give us permission, we can drop 10 poles in a day, so that's pretty good.
Can we do that in Blairstown?
Yeah, we can do that in Blairstown, it's a lot faster.
Okay, you like that. Obviously, you don't have to do it.
No, absolutely.
I'm not going to rehash all that. But, I think the residents need to know that how Planet Networks is going to do better. Because I look at 4 municipalities, and we're the lowest percentage. And I know that we're holding the hub.
If you scroll up, you can see the percentages.
And, the fact that one of the hubs is here in our building, I know we're obviously going to get some services out of it. We talked about that the other day, so that's good. That's great. But, we really have 2 sets of residents. We have a 20% that are totally deaf, but they have the service. And like you said, the marathon, we haven't heard anybody complain about your service, to be honest with you. But we do hear a lot of complaints of people that can't get your service. And I go back to that 17-month, then, December 2022, we'll be all connected. So that's why I invited you to come tonight, and you obviously graciously accepted. Take us into the future. Where are we going to be by December 2024?
So, just to back up a little bit, during the pandemic, there were definitely some supply chain issues, and we were able to get a lot of stuff done quickly as long as we had supplies, because a lot of the people, like the pole moving stuff, there were a lot more lax than also because it wasn't Brightspeed, it was Century. So as soon as it became Brightspeed, we're all on record here, so definitely saying it, they're a competitor now. Before they were a DSL provider and they weren't making any investments in the plant.
Right.
So now they're a competitor, they view us as a competitor, and they're trying to catch up to us and build fiber in some places. I don't know if they'll build it in Blairstown, but the process is the same regardless of where they're building. And so that it was a lot faster, and obviously the permits for a little while. And so that has slowed down, and it takes a lot longer to get permits now than it did. So that has definitely contributed to it. Freelandizing, part of the reason that more freelandizing is done is because they gave us ARPA money to build certain roads because they have no service on some of them. And so obviously town's paying for building and prioritize those because it doesn't have a budget. Well, not as much as a budget. And then they're also adjacent to freelancing and hardware are also also adjacent to, or closer to our green box, so they're fed from green. Depends on where it is. Hardwick, we built, before we did anything here, because we built Happy Mrs. Camden, because they can't for kids to count to, because they didn't have any connectivity, so the kids wouldn't be able to go camp without being able to do the one telemedicine and stuff. So we made a special project to build that. And when we built that, that did light up some other areas. But we have been kind of filling in, because we have a 5-run road, we have been filling in and building taps and everywhere that we built previously to reach out to Mrs. Camden. And that's easier to do because we don't have to get permits to where our animals. So, and then, like I said, freeways, a lot of that is adjacent to green, so we built all green. And Moulton, there were 2 roads there that congressmen, state senators, all these people were like, please build this. And so we were able to, we kind of prioritize those areas because there were a couple, if you look at the roads that were down there, they had no cell service, they had no DSL, no cable. So people had to leave their homes and drive 10 minutes away to campground to get cell service. So we said, okay, we're going to prioritize those areas. So the percentages just worked out. It's not like we said, hey, we're going to build 41% of Hardwick. And I forget those guys in Blairstown. That wasn't the intention. The intention was like, we had certain projects and things that were adjacent to other stuff we were doing. And we don't care about municipal borders when we permit things. So we'll permit a road, and if it happens to go through 3 different towns, and they grant the permits for that road, then we build that road. So, and that happens a lot. 521 goes to a bunch of different towns, and a lot of different roads. So, just to clarify everything, but definitely, like I said before, public meeting, and I'm not, I don't want to rehash this again, because this is something that predated way before. I mean, we came to agreement way before I said I was going to build that town, and that's on me. I wasn't familiar with that ordinance, so that it has changed the budget numbers quite a bit. But, like I said, I was going to build it, we'll build it, and we're going to continue to move forward. It's just, we have to work out the least cost to it.
Well, again, like I said, I think the mayor and I have a whole different appreciation of how the whole thing works, and why we're after all that. So, me personally, I would like to have you invite back in November, which is 7 months, and see what kind of progress we can possibly make.
Yeah, we will build as much as we can in that time, and a lot of it's going to be dependent on how early we get permits back. We'll talk briefly.
We have some projects on both sides, obviously.
And I don't know if you were serious or not about the whole, but like if there's certain situations where we obviously if it's a road and it's just woods and nobody cares, but you drop one pole in front of someone's house, people don't like that usually. So especially going across the street, that it's not right in their front yard. So we try to be very careful about where we do that. But usually where we're doing it is in super rural areas where a pole line goes over the road part way, and you can't feed it from that side, but there's nothing but fields or something on the other side, and we'll drop some bolts in order to be able to feed it a shorter path, or whatever. Because there's obviously a cost depending on where it is, and it's $30,000 to $50,000 a mile to build. And so if we can avoid going some circuitous route where we're not passing any houses and short circuit that by not adding a few poles, then we do that. It gets service to those people faster and keeps the cost of building down. That way we can build in other areas with that kind of.
How easy is it to do a community with underground wires?
So underground costs about 3 or 4 times as much as aerial. We're working on some projects to reduce that cost a little bit, make it more like 2.5 to 3 times. But the nice thing about the underground is that I don't need permission from the pole owner. We typically, depending on where it is, and different towns are different. Freedom, they're just like, just build it. Go ahead, you don't need anything. I don't need to call it freedom, because they're just really easy. In other places, they're like, we want a road opening permit, we want this, we want that. So I don't think we've done an underground in there, so I'm not familiar with the procedure. But whatever it is, we'll navigate it.
I think they're both dead ends.
Okay, yeah, so typically those are pretty simple to do, but we'll do whatever we can do to the town to get permission to go right away. We call and mark out, 811, dig safe, and the other utilities will come out and mark, they'll put, That paint is water soluble and go away after about a month. And then they'll also put flags in the ground, and we ask people, please not remove them, because something's there, we don't want to hit a gas line or electric line or something, someone will move the flags. It's pretty obvious when people remove them, because everyone else has them in this house at night, so we just call an emergency and we'll come out and cover them. And then once that's done, then we will either use a directional drill, which basically makes a little hole that goes in and pop up somewhere else, or we'll do a trench, and then when we do a trench, we put the conduit in, and then we'll fill it back in and put topsoil on and seed and then hay on top of that.
Can you ever piggyback onto existing conduit? Or can you, if there's a roof?
Someone owns that conduit. Usually the other utilities, especially any neighbors around here, unless someone's buying it, the only utility that I know of that has, like, North Village and Sparta is the only place that I know of in Sussex or Warren County that's new that has cable and telephone and conduit. Everything else is direct burial. Because it's cheaper to do direct burial, so that's what they run in most places. And a few neighborhoods, I think there's a couple in Hackettstown, there's like one in Necron where Verizon put conduit in, but they have their own files. They just didn't build it, but we were doing their stuff back then. They put conduit in, and they own that conduit, so we can't use it. So, but we put conduit in, and when we put conduit in, then we own it and we can use it. But it's a pretty big project to do that. And it's like putting gas lines in. It's almost exactly the same thing. And if you're piggybacking, I don't think you guys are on natural gas lines. But in some towns where they're adding or expanding the natural gas, we've asked multiple times for, a couple different companies, hey, can we split costs with you? It's a win-win, right?
But all the ground is open.
Yeah. Or if you're doing you're doing directional boring, instead of pedaling back one conduit, pull back two conduits, and we'll pay for one, you pay for the other one, and we'll split costs. But we've never found a natural gas company willing to do that, because if they put it in, then we have to stay 2 feet away from them, and they'd rather, they just soon have us further away from them. The cost of them, their model works the way it is, so they don't really care. So, sorry, one explanation.
No, we learned a lot the other day, and just thought of a couple more things. Thank you.
So I guess it's fair to ask if you learned anything about social media.
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say. And who I say it to.
That's really why you're here.
Yeah, no, I know this. But I'm happy to come here anyway. You guys call me anytime on all this stuff, so.
We enjoyed a good relationship early on, and it's disheartening to
But as you,
we're past that part.
and as you can tell, you don't hear keyboards clicking away in the audience here. Those people never show up. They just sit on Facebook and try to stir stuff up. So, while we have to actually sit here and do the thing. So, I'm glad you came out tonight. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you contacting me and being able to go here. And I said, I like Blairstown. We want to build all Blairstown. We'll build all Blairstown. And I'm going to see what we can do to get more of it done sooner now.
Thank you, Robert.
Good question. Thank you.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll take questions.
Hi, I have a couple questions for you. If you do a build out on somebody else, let's say your own pole, will somebody else be able to build out of your pole also?
So it's our pole. Yeah, all they need to do is, if the question is, if we add a pole, if someone else will be able to use our pole. So we're very, open to that. Like, as someone who has trouble attaching some poles sometimes, with different, or with valve telephone, for example, refuses to give us what, but we've had meetings with UC and local utilities and everything, and they legally should, but there's no enforcement capability. So, but if someone wanted to attach our poles, we're very easy to work with, and we'd be happy to do that.
As far as maintenance goes, once you put a pole in the ground, we have issues, obviously, with maintenance of wood and so forth. Power light poles or cable line poles, are you responsible for that maintenance?
So, as far as I know, and I can't speak for them because I'm not Altice or Optimum, but as far as I know, they don't own any poles. So, all of the poles are owned by the telephone company or the power company. We we're the only third-party company that I know of that installs our own poles. So we are responsible for any poles that we install. So if something happens and there's a storm, or a truck gets it or something, we're responsible. We have poles installed. We have a digger derrick, so we don't rely on some third party. We can actually install them ourselves. We'll come out and do it in the morning if we need to fix it.
Two other local questions. What is the whole permitting timeframe currently? I mean, you related to the township committee that it takes a long time. I know what you anticipated, but what is the actual timeframe?
So it takes, depending on what it is. So we used to be able to do our own engineering. We can't do our own engineering. So that has changed the cost and the we can do our own engineering, per se. The whole owner will allow us now. So I think that they take about 60 days, something like that, to do engineering. To process the whole plant, it takes them about 60 days. And then I think they have 45 days to do engineering. So it's about 6 months.
What were you anticipating initially?
So initially, we could put it in the net 30 days later. That's the way it was in the beginning. So the timing has changed, and that means that we plan stuff out basically every year.
There's only one underground in the Cedar Glen Drive that I'm aware of that has utilities, phone and internet underground.
And Partridge Glen.
Cedar Glen, oh, Partridge Glen, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joel has that a good question.
I just want, I live on a private road. Your intention is really to go into every household? Okay. I just wanted to hear that from myself.
I said you had a good question, Joel. That was kind of...
It was good for me.
In Joel standards, it
It was
really...
good for me.
Okay, all right.
No, it's bad, some of it.
The man has a field named after him. I expected a little...
And some of it's deprived of good internet for so long, it's just hard.
Yeah, it really, there are people still just in shock that they're going to be able to use like modern devices. The DSL is laughable. Laughable.
We started deploying DSL in 1997, and we stopped deploying it in 2002. So, that was 22 years ago.
There are people paying over $100 a month for the slowest DSL you can imagine.
And they can hardly run their big machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things with poles, I just want to let you know, so part of our agreement with the phone company is when we, so sometimes you have double wood, which means that there's a new pole that was put in. And so when a pole is broken, or it's too short, they do an upgrade or something, or it's rotting or whatever, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll put a new pole next to it, and then the power company will transfer their stuff and they'll chop the pole off. And so the communication stays on it. So that's when we have like two poles, one thing leaning over and helping broke or something. So our thing that we do with the phone company is whenever we transfer those facilities from the old pole, whenever we attach, they say, well, while you're attaching, by the way, move everything over and pull the old pole. So we do that pretty frequently. Wherever we are, if there's double wood and we're attaching to it, we'll get rid of the old pole and we take it, our responsibility to take it away, cut it out, and fill it out. We have a special ones if there is. They take it out. But, so that is something that we cue that maintenance when it's, when we're touching.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Robbie. Really appreciate
Just a
it.
little bit of hope for Joel. I know you just recently, a couple months ago, did Putney Road, which is also a dead end. So just because it's not, so there's hope out there, hang in there.
And if you have people who like have real problems, like bigger problems than others, like we did in Baltimore, that all and the other, you have absolutely no service.
Their cell service goes to SOS. in some of those areas. There's literally nothing penetrating through those hollows that you go down to 46. It's bad. I would not want to live in an area where this doesn't work. It's scary.
I will tell you, if there are areas of Blairstown that you guys have constant complaints where you say like they have no cable and their DSL is 2 megs or whatever, then tell me where they are and we'll prioritize those areas.
My street.
That would be the beige area.
Just let me know. The beige area, right?
A lot of people living in the age. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Okay, Matt's over here. Robert?
He's sticking around.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can have that if you want.
Okay. Well, any other public comment before we... Joanne, come on up.
Joanne Van Volken, Stillwater Road. We have ordinances in this town. We have, last night we had a meeting, the land use board, and people come in and we talk about things that they want to do, and there's specific ordinances, and we have to make sure people follow. We have a zoning officer in this town, who tries to make sure that many are following our ordinances in this town. My question is, our township committee this year, at least from what I found out, I never knew it before, is not following our ordinance for open space account. We have a specific trust fund for open space, and we are charging items in that trust fund that do not belong charged to open space. We're charging salaries, we're charging maintenance of the property here. There's a lot of different things. Did you look at the account law? Someone was here last month and we learned about that. About how, and I'm very disappointed, I have to tell you something, to our auditor, to allow this and not make a mention of those funds being spent inappropriately in our audit. That he has not mentioned that. I don't understand. There's several accounts for the open space. The one account that we have is 7001, and that's presented to us in our budget. There are other accounts where other monies have been charged, salaries, parts maintenance for the front lawn over here, 2 different types of maintenance. If you look at the details for the open space account, and that's not reported. And that's why on this sheet here, and I'm asking you to check this out, right over here, there's a line item here that says total expenses to date. That's not correct, because all the money that was coming out of a different account for open space trust has never been reported, and we never knew it was being expended. So I'm telling you, if you're going to follow ordinances, you're going to follow your own ordinance. You have an open space trust fund, and you're not using it appropriately. The Office of Public Integrity and Accountability is not in favor of that. So please, go back, take a look at it, talk to your auditor, talk to your CFO, and correct it. Because you can't, just because you made a promise to the town that you're not going to raise taxes in the general account, start charging money into the open space account. Detail, look at it. If you want to meet with me, I'll show you everything. I have all the details. Okay? So if we're going to make everybody else in this town follow ordinances, let's follow all of them. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Debbie Walker.
We can't, we need John Mike.
Yeah, no problem. My question really isn't a question other than, are you going to discuss the agenda, consent agenda items, and specifically number 4, 2024-58 with regard to mediation? I just want to know more about it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I can't ask the question during that time.
No, but we'll go each item.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Any other public comment? Come on in.
My name is Tara Mezzanotte. I am in Milton, Hardwick, Portland, Lower Mount Bethel, Upper Mount Bethel, and Smithfield Township's liaison to the DOT and not for 611 and 980 hours in the Valley Water Gap. And last meeting, I brought to your attention that the DOT was going to have a big meeting, which they had last Monday, about the historical impact to historically significant resources in the Delaware Water Gap for their I-80 retaining wall project. And Committee Enrollment volunteered to represent Milton Township at that meeting, and he was there. And, excuse me. Thank you.
I do it all the time.
Oh, you do. I'm sure you do. And he was there, and you got to feel the experience of us. We were told we could come and ask questions before, during, and after. But what we weren't told is we would be then told to put that in writing, because they would want to respond in writing. So it's important we keep showing up. It's important that we have shown up before. Because we have showed up in the past and advocated well for our Mount Tammany, our Delaware Water Gap, I do believe is part of the reason why it made it easy for our New Jersey State Historic Preservation Office to create the opportunity for this meeting. It didn't happen for the rockfall mitigation project, and that went off the rails before we caught on to it being off the rails. And because we caught on and are acting the way we're acting now, we really created the table, and we have that seat at that table. So I wanted to thank you very much for being there and being there with us. We were well represented. Assemblyman DeMayo's office, it's always important for me to let us and the public know how we're represented by those that we put into office. So Warren County was there. Assemblyman DeMayo's office was there. I know Senator Steinhardt's office wanted to be there, as well as Assemblyman Peterson. But of course, coincidence or not, the DOT chose the date that wasn't favored by availability of all. Congressman Kane had representation there as well. So it's important that we keep showing up. Milton and Hardwick will be passing a resolution based on some of this, and with that's going to be going out to our partnering municipalities for consideration of support. So if it's okay with you, I'll share that directly with Mr. Loman and process it through that way, and therefore maybe I'll be here.
Absolutely. Was there any word on 6/11 and how this viscous muck of political crud that we're dealing with that's killing a town on the other side of the river? And
Two. And the lives of commuters. I mean, these people, they're paying two tolls.
Has anyone addressed that?
So the latest is, and it seems to be a consistent message, although we're getting closer to that July date, is that they should be able to be starting this summer. And again, the starting is, phase 1 is scraping the loose rock down, removing that hazard that's loose and getting the dead trees down, so that they can put barrier out, and so that hazard can't reach the wide lane, so that they can open one lane with a loaded end. And the sad part is we're going to get so excited when they start that, and we maybe have one lane open with a light, like people overload. It's not a solution in any way. The minute 80's backed up, the last thing you want is to be in Portland or Delaware Water Gap when there's a mile and two of people out of light.
No. Joanne had that long.
Oh. So if when they start, it's 3 to 6 months of that process. Once they start phase 1, then they'll be on the slope and they'll be able to then start designing phase 2, which is truly a rock mitigation project. So it's bad for a long time.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Mr. Mayor, would you like an update on 50 Metro?
Mike Sook, come on up and take a chair.
Mike Sook, 5 Axander Trail.
So I've been in touch with the DEP every 3 weeks since this all started. And thanks to your efforts helping us out, Ms. Dunbar, you did an outstanding job. They're going to be removing all of that and bringing it back to its natural state, including the contours. And right now it's in the courts. They have a date for beginning of May, postponed until July. So I'm in constant contact with Tom Farrell, the old chief for solid waste. And he's been outstanding helping us out. He's carrying the torch as far as going to the courts and giving expert testimony, taking care of things. I have been sure of a couple of things. Each load that is removed from there, which should be 95+%, is going to a transfer station. It's all going to be documented. They will be observing the removal themselves, the DEP, as I asked them to do that. This peak is the LS or PS, and we do in charge of that.
Best case scenario, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a win.
It's got to get through the courts. They have the right to have their case presented in court, and Tom Farrell will be there to let them know that this needs to be taken care of in the ways that you've received the same information that I did as far as what needs to be cleaned up and how it's going to be done. So I just want to let everybody know.
It's been going on so long, and I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize what we're talking about. It's one of those things that it's a few years old now.
But just in case it gets held up, we plan on moving forward to try to push this along in some different ways.
We have the right man.
We'll stay on it.
We have the right man on the job.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
No question, but just for the benefit of those who might not know, this was a case of many loads of dirty fill, is that right?
Correct.
Not just soil
Solid
importation,
waste.
but yeah.
It's been classified as solid waste.
They found a list of things that you would never want in your fill. The amount of truckloads isn't even well known. It's in the hundreds, though. It took hundreds of, yeah. So they essentially took a hillside and made it a flat. Yeah, and that was,
Front and back of their body.
right. Yeah. You've been on this since day one.
It's been interesting.
Yeah.
And in hope there, the DEP is also put an order in for them to remove the road in the front. Because they have to remove that entire road. It's much of the same.
Where are they taking that from?
Transfer station in Pennsylvania, I'm not sure which one. But each load must be documented and followed through and it reaches its destination.
Is it classified residual or is it, it's not hazard? Is it?
There were 6 holes that were over the minimum content standards of DEP. The rest were within the minimum content standards, but those chemicals are still chemicals.
Was it just demolished building?
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we could thank Pennsylvania for taking it.
Well, in the transfer station that it's going to go to, it's specifically dealt with in those stations. That's where it should have been. But, as you know, it costs a lot to make sure that.
I think that was our moment in this town that opened a lot of eyes and brought about this, knowledge of these unsavory folks trying to get rid of illegal fill. And we haven't had a case. We had like one case after that, small, but I think people have gotten it. They've gotten the memo now that you cannot just allow someone to pay you $400 a truckload or whatever it was to take this stuff. You're poisoning yourself and poisoning all your
And the
neighbors.
water,
Yeah,
because on 50 Mount Vernon, the Stony Brook is right there.
yeah.
So, and the farm, and the hope, that's the beaver brook, which is the first one.
Right.
So, looks like it's all going to work out well. It's going to take time, and it might take a little bit of pressure to get everybody to continue doing it. But we'll stay on it.
Thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
And the police also know from your past meetings, they can stop any truck that goes through Blairstown and ask them for bills of lading
Right.
and check out where it came from.
Yeah, they're aware.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Mike.
important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Just thank you guys.
Any other public comment? I mean, we've almost had everyone talk. It's just... No, nothing? Nothing? You got nothing? All right. Yeah, come on down. All right. We'll close out the public comment section here. Move on to department head reports for the month of April. You're the one who likes to talk so much. You're rushing me? Blairstown Fire Department, Hose Company Number 1, Department of Public Works, Police Department, Tax Collector, Township Clerk, Vacant and Abandoned Properties. We will address each of those in our individual committee reports. We have a motion to accept the April department head reports.
We'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Couple of ordinances tonight. Ordinance 2020-404, introduction. It's a bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $647,000 for acquisition of Department of Public Works equipment and vehicles for and by the Township of Blairstown in the County of Warren, New Jersey, and authorizing the Township for financing part of the appropriation. Anyone want to?
I'll move into introduction there.
Okay. Well, anyone want to give a little overview of what we're? Okay. Have to explain. Sure. All right. Well, we have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There you go. Another introduction, 2020-405, an ordinance to purchase various equipment, Department of Public Works equipment in and for the Township of Blairstown and provide for the funding thereof. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. 2020-406, an ordinance for various road improvements within and for the Township of Blairstown and to provide for the funding thereof. Ask for a motion.
So moved.
Sounded like a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, you guys are making it so easy. All right. Another introduction, 2020-407, an ordinance to repeal Chapter 104 of the Code of... Is this an introduction or is this second reading?
No, we discussed that we were going ahead.
All right, got it. Repeal Chapter 104 of the Code of the Township of Blairstown entitled Fees, and to repeal Section 142.31 of Chapter 142 of the Code of the Township of Blairstown entitled Signs and Advertisements. This is kind of like some house cleaning we are doing in some of our ordinances that we've found. We have a motion.
I'll second there.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Our consent agenda. Yes, we will go individually here as we go down. Number 1 is 2020-455, award of contract and road resurfacing, and that is for, that's for Lambert, yes. 2020-456, a resolution in support of Senate number 725 concerning unlawful occupancy of dwellings and supplementing Title II-C of the New Jersey statutes of the state of New Jersey, showing our support in anti-squatting. As we see this is happening around the country, we want to make sure that we show that we would like to make that illegal once and for all in the state. 2024 57, calling for modernization of the Open Public Records Act, OPRA, and swift passage of S 2930, A 4045. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up on this, but something they've been talking about in Trenton for quite a while now.
Christian might actually do this.
Won't happen a lot, it's just gonna make my life more HE office.
It's gonna be worse?
No, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better.
It's getting better.
Sorry, right now it's not, but this will make it better.
Okay.
I thought the governor was gonna do something this week.
Right.
Yeah, I think it has more to do with police stuff.
Yeah,
Police-
well, there's a list. There's a list of them.
Number 4, 2024-58, award a contract to remediate asbestos from the Jones Farm ceiling. Charlie, you want to
just, because it's going to take a while, you want to just go through everything else and come back to it?
What are you doing now?
Okay.
One way or the other.
Jones Farm referenced the asbestos removal. It's approximately 1,200 square feet. I had 4 different companies come out. The prices in the range from $4,500 to $2,300, $600. So it was $4,500, $6,500, $6,700, and then $23,000. So that is to remove all the asbestos from the old farm that has been identified by the study that was done 2 years ago. Go ahead.
That was surprisingly low.
It is.
When you called me with that number, I was like, you gotta be kidding.
There's an office in that barn, it's the ceiling, and that was the asbestos. There's also about an 18-inch paneling that goes the whole length of the office that also has to be removed. So they're all certified asbestos removal companies. They come in, they notify the state within 10 days that they're started, and they do all the permitting, they do everything according to the asbestos removal. That's not how we'll take it. It's all sanctioned by the state, so we're good to go.
Excellent. 2024-59, award a contract for the purchase of diagnostic machine from the Department of Public Works. 2024-60, award contract for the purchase of a 20,000-pound tag-along trailer. 2024-61, the award contract for the purchase of 2 Pro-Turn Gravely mowers for our DPW. And 2024-62, approving vouchers and claims. Any discussion on any, and we're striking number 9 for now. So,
I'll make a motion to approve 1 through 8.
I'll second that motion.
we have a roll call, please, Kristen?
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Logan?
Yes.
Mr. McAtora?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Orcott?
Yes.
Mayor Moorhead?
Yes. Some unfinished business. Jones Farm.
Okay, we did have construction started on the back building. It's approximately, I'd say 40% demolished. We've already taken 1 whole tractor trailer, a little bit of lumber and tin out of there. Speaking with the contractor who was latest tonight, they will probably be back sometime this week. They're coming from Georgia, so it's not going as fast as we'd like, but then again, it's all free. It's not costing us anything. So the only thing we're going to be spending so far is for $4,500 for the remediation to get the asbestos out of there. And that will allow them to start working on the front of the building. Other than that, we just ask the public to stay away. See, we put a caution tape just for safety purposes. We don't need a liability of anybody to hurt them. But that's all we have this time.
And we'll stay on Jones Farm a little bit. We met there, we were on site with the engineer, with Dennis Reed from French and Brillo yesterday, I think. And looking at the fields to talk about what needs to be done in the engineering thing, and they're going to come back with a proposal. They understand what we're looking for, and we're going to have a proposal by our next week. To see whatever they can maximize as far as fuels and keep the drainage away and try to deal within the, we're still, everything is still within the 300-foot buffer of the kill, but it's permitted uses, we'll be able to permit to do things within that area.
Should also be said that our DPW has done an amazing job along the top of the ridge that when you stand up there and look down at the hill.
You have to go in and clean all, when I walked out there over the winter, it's a really nice spot, and that's our demarcation line between passive recreation and active recreation. And early on in the spring, they cleared all the brush that had been growing there for years along that whole top ridge. Then we had that surplus of wood chips, and they smoothed them out across that whole, from Jones Barnes almost, all the way up to Fountain Mall. And then we're gonna put some picnic tables in there, and it's gonna be a nice area for people to go hang out. It's a shady area all day long. Shady. Well, they're not doing that. There's yellow too to keep them off.
No, but there's, walking along that ridge there, there's some,
Really nice looking. You didn't even go all the way down. It's nicer because the kill is like right above.
I did the mature trees that are out there. You have so many, a great variety of trees that you don't normally see in a lot of people's yards. It's really nice.
Unfortunately, back in the day, that was where the farmer just dumped, those farm dumps up in there. You can't see them anymore, it's kind of covered up. We pulled some of the old things that were sticking up above the ground, the DPW pulled those out. But it's a really nice look above the kill, you're looking down at the trees, a nice breeze, and the sun is off you all that in the shade. Nice area. And great cell service right there. We can hang out there. Home office.
It's more on topic on Jones Farm, especially for anybody that's watching this on YouTube. Anybody that has any old park pictures of the farm, we send them to the park. We'd like to kind of hold them, for future use, whether we've got session stand or whatever. But I walked the property, it was at one point, there must have been 7 silos on that property. So it must have been a very large farm, very large. So I'd love to see some of the pictures, if anybody would bring it forward.
Pam Westphal has it. She has all the green.
Thank you.
Our attorney's not here tonight, so our sample stormwater ordinance.
Right there, the attorney and the engineer are working
Yep,
together.
yep. Recreation grant update. Who wants to talk
Well,
about it?
I didn't have an update, but I think Mr. Roman.
I believe he,
Or do you want to talk about it during the report?
About a grant, I don't have an update.
No, for the septic.
The septic, yeah.
That's the same thing.
Yep.
You want to talk about it during the report? Okay.
you want to say it? Sure. Say it, okay. I don't want to take all your, people usually take all my wind out of my sails toward the end there, so. Any new business to cover? Anyone bring up any correspondence? Oh, I like this. From the township attorney.
That was fine.
I've never seen him this quiet. From the township clerk.
So I actually have a few things. First off, on May 6th, we had our safety committee meeting, which included the chief, DPW supervisor, the CFO, myself, our risk manager, Randy May, Bill Lepore, who's also a risk manager, Carolyn Conboy, who's a fund commissioner or administrator, and David Birkenbush, I might be saying that wrong, who's for loss control. The safety meeting is something we do every year just to go over workman's comp, training that DPW police had to do, OSHA requirements. We did discuss the police training that needs to be done, do's and don'ts of social media, law enforcement, playground safety, things of that nature. It was discussed that cyber trainings that are going to need to be done. It was discussed that personnel manual needs to be updated. We also need to have our social media post archive, which we do already. And we are going to be updating our facility use agreement to cover all township buildings and land usage and reduce liability. So we went over certificate of insurance in detail. For those of you who don't know already, our 2024 election polling location has been changed to the firehouse. Postcards did go out from the Board of Election. I'm pretty sure everybody got it. The 2024 early election will be held here at the municipal building. Those dates are May 29th through June 2nd. Monday through Saturday, the hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, the hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Deputy Mayor Orcott has been so kind to open the door during the weekend since I won't be here. And lastly, spring cleanup is going to be May 28th through June 1st. If you get your vouchers, please do so before May 30th. That's it.
All right, I got my vouchers today. Let's go to the Township Committee. Committee member Lance.
Thank you. So very excited about the Collinsville Wild and Scenic Partnership that we saw the presentation on earlier tonight. Part of what we are looking at for that has been spending a lot of time understanding what it is and what it isn't. The benefits that come to the town when it comes to the protection of the waters. I'm very excited about that, and I think it's going to be a really positive thing. The outstanding, remarkable values that we end up having in Blairstown, it's just so easy to qualify. It's like a slam dunk about what's already in the, what they've identified. In the resolution that we already gave, in fact, Tara, she's wonderful. She ghost wrote most of what's there anyway, and that's going to end up helping us a lot. Let's see. Our clerk spoke about the insurance needs. When we met with our finance committee, we also discussed that as well. And part of the update of the facility use agreement is going to benefit the public a lot more than protecting the town. We were talking about some of the difficulties that we have when you want to throw an event in town and the types of things that we would want to offer. We definitely want to put some guidance together on that. As far as initially we were looking at, like, if you want to have a meeting and you want to have people that are for that meeting and it's 100% in-house people who are members or whatever else, versus if you are inviting members of the public who are, you know, an unknown quantity of people, unknown risk, and the different insurance needs that come with that are not something that you can quantify or charge for, really. So that's definitely something that we're looking at. We did also discuss during our finance committee meeting some of the difficulties that we had as far as producing as much repair as we possibly can in-house. So I was very grateful to see the ordinances that we had for the bond and for being able to raise money to be able for our DPW to be able to do a lot of their own repairs and have the diagnostic tools to be able to do that. So that is a plus. And the only thing I have is 4th of July is going on. We've got our first donors' checks in, so we're solid, so that's a good thing. We're ongoing as far as a call for vendors. So that's actually on our website if you wanted to become a vendor. We really love to have as many nonprofits as possible, and churches, organizations, anybody. Local, that's what we want. I spent some time speaking with Lorraine Meister. I'm very happy, glad to see you here today. We have some exciting outings that we're looking at for our seniors. And I'm going to say that's it.
Thank you, Karen. Committee Member Loman.
Yes, I had the opportunity to speak with our engineer at Princeton Corello about the Walnut Valley septic system in order to proceed with a plan that would fix it. We have to find out first what's wrong with it. So he put together a scope of work that will do some soil testing, some wetlands delineation, wastewater sampling, and then ultimately designing the system, so those results are back, so that we can actually have something that we can shop around at the ballpark price for the next So there's two phases. First phase is roughly $20,000 for them to do all that work and design the system, so that we can then have something in the end, so that we can start to shop around. So that's where we're at.
In speaking with Dennis Keenan a couple days ago, I asked about kind of, you know, is there a way that we can, because right now we don't know what we have there, right? And would it be more cost effective to repair the system instead of replacing? And right, would it be better with permitting and all that, obviously? And we also talked about, I know Eric didn't like the idea, but we're not using any low flush plumbing those bathrooms at all. And we hear about the water overflowing during games and the system backing up, but it's only as good as what we're putting into it, right? So we may have to think about also upgrading our plumbing equipment so we're not doing 3-gallon flushes or whatever is going into that system when you have hundreds of people there all night. Yeah, I mean, I'm eager to find out what this preliminary testing shows and figure out what we've got there.
So part of that price, just to sort of raise on the same page, is for DPW to go down to the back alley and open up the ground. Because they regularly come to the different
Right.
So that's something the board is going to see.
Yes.
That, format for next week.
I just got it.
All right, anything else, sir?
Just quickly, can I ask you, do we have an approximate location where those tanks are? Yeah, see, they're not going to interrupt the football field?
No, there's
It's
nothing.
not a shame.
So they're taking the field to, sorry.
No, the actual field, no, that's not going to be done.
No.
It's covered.
Right behind the stand.
No, but they have an actual field.
Committee member McAtura?
Hey, for the police department, on April 26th, our SOR officer, Coronado, he is a Blairstown elementary school officer, noticed an individual out in the parking lot with some gas cans. So he went out and confronted him and observed mason jars, rags, and flammable material suitable to make Molotov cocktails, and they were located in the car. He obviously took the individual into custody, so the chief wanted to make sure that the tag officer put on for his actions. Basically, we're saving potentially tragic outcome. The suspect did later admit that his intentions were to either harm himself or to burn the structure down. So, when you hear about armed officers in schools and you say, they're needed in Arlington, there's a perfect example of something that could really limit violence. So, congratulations to the officer Coronado for doing a great job. They've also discussion presently with North Warren Regional High School, putting this on there. They presently have more private security, so we're looking to go and we're in contract negotiations with them now to put an officer there. So the officer will actually work with the Blairstown Police Department and be assigned to that particular location. The difference being that would be what they call a Class 3 officer. So he will only have police power while he's on the school property. Whereas Officer Coronado is Class 2, he not only can work on the school, but he can work anywhere in the municipalities and we have no officer on duty. Lastly, there's a national training center that's nationally recognized for law enforcement officers. And Corporal Herzl just completed that leadership training, so congratulations to him for his leadership. And Corporal Casano participated in the police unity today. He rode his bicycle from Fairfield, New Jersey to Washington, D.C. They raises funds and awareness for the National Memorial in Washington, D.C. And this is also a great year for him. So congratulations to him. And lastly, the only thing I want to say is we have Ms. Beagle here, and I understand is he your father? That's not true.
No, it's not your time.
Which means that her father was 100 years old, right? And had the opportunity of down by the falls, and I guess they have relatives from all over the country. And I got to meet a few of them, so Blairstown has their 100-year-old, so happy birthday to them. That's all.
Very good. Deputy Mayor Orcutt.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Charlie, just can we go back to that SRO request for the regional high school?
Okay.
They're looking to put one, is it going to be supplementing the private security force they have now?
Presently, they're going to have both. They're going to have the SRO that will report to us, and they're also going to still have their private. At this point, they don't want to necessarily make a lot of comments on what their intentions are, so they actually will kind of sit by and make them concrete. But we're going to have both of them. So we're going to keep. They did have one individual that was, I guess, the supervisor, if you will. He has since been terminated. So hopefully this SRO will take his position. You now have an individual, the positive thing is you now have an individual in there that has full arrest powers. She's going to be in uniform. Whereas the private individuals are there don't necessarily have arrest powers. It's a move in the right direction, by all means.
Yeah, I imagine we'll have a lot more discussion about that.
Yes, in the near future.
Very good.
Deputy Mayor Orcutt.
That's me. All right, you might notice that I have yet the latest example of Gibbons Belay. The wall is done, the mulch is in, the white wall was painted by the Blair students under Bob Law's tutelage. He managed, Bob and, what's her name?
We were just talking about it.
I'll stop my section for a section, Charlie, so you can bring him in for, you can bring him in for.
We were just kind of saying what a great job he did with the individual with the gas cans and so.
Your visit could not be more timely.
Congratulations.
Tonight.
Pardon me?
That was the topic of discussion at the board meeting.
Okay, well, congratulations on the job well done on behalf of the committee. That was outstanding.
Thank you. The superintendent deserves a little credit for that too, because he saw him in the lot before I did, and then we went to go talk to him. Obviously, we knew he had some mental issues. We went to actually see if he was okay. And then we saw that he had gas cans, and then one thing led to another, and a beer barrel, and acetone, and long story short, we told him, listen, I don't know what you got going on, you can't stay here. And he's like, all right, but I gotta get a couple things out of the trunk of the man's car. Pops the trunk and he takes out a case of mason jars and some rags, and we looked at each other and we were like, okay. Called for another Blairstown car and went through the whole thing. That couldn't have been really bad.
As Charlie said, you think you don't need an SRO in a small, quiet town. Anything can happen.
Yeah. So, but everything at the school worked exactly the way it was supposed to. We didn't go into a lockdown because the threat was contained outside. So we just did a shelter in place. Everything inside the school, the principal took control of that, and she did everything like clockwork. The kids stayed where they were supposed to do, and we lifted it as soon as we could, and everything, went back to business as usual. And I think it was like 14 minutes, I think.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the comments.
We were talking about you.
Your timing was perfect.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Sorry, Deputy Mayor.
Open narrate picture from up here while.
I mean, wow, who did that hardscaping? Look at that wall. That wall is just amazing.
The DPW did the wall themselves,
That's,
blocks from Lowe's. They did both sides, they did a real nice job, and this curves around and comes into the back door. So it's got a nice area there. Bob Law and the Blair kids did the wall there and did all the mulch. The Legion will be, this area right here is the pavers, the number of pavers, that everyone should go to Rotary, go to the Rotary website and buy a paver, please.
can we still buy them? Are they still available?
Yeah, I'm sure they're still there, absolutely. So it's Blairstown Rotary, their webpage. And there's just a few more minor things we need to do. We're gonna tie up the wall a little bit more, maybe in the back here, to hide the cans of the wellhead a little bit, but other than that, and Casey's coming back, Casey's coming back and do a little bit more basic work, but other than that, it came out really nice, and right about now, we need to start thinking about what we're gonna be doing inside, to make it maximum functional. If based on insurance regulations and things of that nature, how much we can even use the building, our own building, but we'll think of something. That was a joke.
I got it.
Okay, there's nobody else did.
That's, it was an insurance joke. No one laughs at insurance.
Charlie didn't announce, and I will. At the land use board, we did hire a planner at the land use board level, and ultimately, I'm recommending that the council committee will hire the same planner to represent us use of the planner is not mutually exclusive, so one of the big things that's coming up between the end of 2024 through 2025, and then ultimately being implemented in the spring of 2026 is affordable housing. There's new legislation that just passed, just got signed, and there's a whole time frame, which in fact Kristen is going to let us know what that is at a future meeting again. We're doing a bunch of dates and milestones, and we're going to have to be creative, and the planner will help us in that regard, be creative in how we implement the affordable housing mandates, numbers that we're mandating. Fortunately, because we don't have infrastructure, sewers and water in particular, it's going to be very tough. That's taken into consideration when they do our numbers. We're not going to get high density, low income housing. It just can't really happen. But we're going to have a number that's going to be, I don't know, 50 to 100, let's say. But a lot of that is probably going to be able to be done with accessory apartments. The folks that have the old chicken coop out in the back and they want to put it. The difference, and the folks who know should understand is, it's nice because you think, okay, well, I can put my parents in there and we have an accessory. It won't count. It has to be open to the market. What was the term for that, Charlie?
Market availability.
I should have that. Sorry?
Has to have market availability.
Yeah, market availability. So it has to be available to anyone, and probably
That income
the homeowner won't even
qualifies.
be able to make the decision on who it gets rented to. Our housing coordinator will probably be involved in that process, so it's a fair process. But it's something we're going to have to deal with. But again, we've got 2 or 3 years, and we're not waiting till the last minute, of course. In fact, the state won't let us wait till the last minute because of the milestones. Other than that, I did talk about the fact that we met with the engineer, and he's going to be commencing some work, getting some ideas of what it's going to cost to do the engineering for Jones Farm, and that's about all I have. Except, DPW does have all of the inlets ready to go for the paving project on Leonard Road. Everything's been raised up, we're ready to go. That's all, that's enough for me.
A much needed paving project.
Reserve any time.
Let's see what I have.
What did we not learn?
Fire report, how's that for the month of April? 15 calls that Blairstown Hose Company, 25 calls Blairstown Hose Company number 1 went out on in the month of April, 15 in Blairstown, 9 in Hardwick, and 1 in Knowlton. So it was a pretty busy month for those folks. Also, still moving along with Collier's Engineering on there's probably still some stuff we need to get together for them to move along with the WIPA request that they need to put together. I think that I might have a couple of pieces of that Eric sent me over, but we really kind of have to review on that.
Yeah.
Make sure that we go back. Anything else? I don't think
Mr.
there's
Mayor, actually, there is one other thing I forgot.
Sure.
And you just wanted to bring up. The CFO is requesting to be removed as the insurance fund commissioner.
But we can bring it up.
So explain, you're the other one, right? There's 2 of you?
I'm the alternate.
You're the alternate.
And now you're the primary.
Nope. We just want to be the fund commissioner. It's an uncommon. So just, she's requesting to be removed, so.
We're running out of people in the building.
I think that was a wonderful practice.
Right. Okay, so do we have to accept her?
If you can just, acknowledge and accept it, yes, and then we'll have to review it and figure out who is going to take the place.
Okay, well, we thank Christine for her many years as the insurance fund commissioner and accept her resignation with much regret. we'll find a primary, I guess.
Thank you.
Just maybe draw straws or something. Someone's gonna want to do it. Is it really that involved? Is there a lot of work involved in that?
If you take it seriously, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are we still doing executive session without our attorney? Yes. We still have things to talk about. Okay. Without any further ado, if everyone up here has anything else to add.
Small calendar events, we have a parade coming up. We have several events that are going to happen for Memorial Day. We have several events that are happening. It's opening day for the farmers market is June 1st. We have the side event that's going to be on June 20th.
I just got an email.
All these things happen before the meeting.
The June first, that's just a reason for that.
Yes.
Let's discuss that right now. The flag raisers, we did, it was done in the past, I looked at some of the video, and I haven't been able to go to those. The MIA flag needs to stay there. But it wasn't there.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
On the actual books that are there that we need to pick up, there is no sign, there's no, because that's all we did ask the committees that we put up samples of the railroad, this is for 3 flags.
Okay.
I don't think they have one of them because the last time I had meetings, we all just.
That will be done.
And it would be good if they were providing the actual flag for our event.
I think the last time.
Flag that's been sitting in
The last time I raised it, I used zip ties, so they were all 3 of them. I made my own holidays.
Did you do it last year?
No, I carried it.
Oh, so it wasn't.
It was only last year that we had that.
So who's participating this year? What's the date? It's about the 20th.
June 20th.
You said you.
No, June 20th is the BBC event for this year.
So you didn't like, what do you say?
I got an email from them, but they didn't say the date. They're inviting me to it.
Oh, okay. Flag raising Saturday, June 1st,
Who's participating?
I will be attending, I wasn't going to participate.
I'm going to say, I want to make sure the flag is.
We didn't come out with us. You did that last year. You're literally dirt biking more than anyone I know. Okay. Well, we'll cover it. Okay. I'd like to bring up a little thing called Resolution number 2024-63, resolution authorizing executive session for pending or anticipated litigation and contract negotiations. Do we have a motion to enter executive session?
Motion.
All in favor? All right. So we'll be back with any, Joel, really good to see you. We have a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back, folks. During that executive session, we discussed
Put the camera back on?
we discussed proposed contracts for SRO in Blairstown Elementary School and a proposed contract for a new SRO in the region. Charlie,
I have both contracts in front of me. The schools have, sent them to us. We're pretty much in agreement. We want to continue the one in Blairstown Elementary, and the new one is going to call regional. Both officers will be reporting to the team. So So I would like to make the motion that we accept both of these contracts along with the attorney review and approval. Our attorney review.
Pending review, sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
You should second that, man.
I certainly will. I will second that. We're going to need a roll call.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Lohman?
Yes.
Mr. Vacatori?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Orcott?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes. Okay. Then we'll get that off to Kevin and hopefully get,
Speed ahead.
get North Morgan.
Nothing impeding you. Nothing is impeding you at all.
All right, seeing that it's almost 10 o'clock, I would love for someone to make a motion for adjournment.
Well, I'd like to discuss
So moved.
Stab you in the eye.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?